Ms. Smith, you are suing the defendant, Ms. Hill, over a defective truck and car plus repairs. You went over to the defendant's car dealership. You test drove a 97 F-150 pickup truck. You noticed that there were a couple issues with the steering wheel, the brakes, but the defendant agreed to make those repairs if you purchased the truck, and you agreed. You later went back to the dealership to buy a 2005 Ford Taurus. Even though it had issues, the defendant was selling it for dirt cheap, so you bought that as well. You later discovered that the Taurus had bigger issues than you realized that you couldn't afford to fix. And the F-150 truck that you purchased failed an emissions test, which is why you're suing her for the court's maximum of $5,000. Ms. Hill, you claim that both vehicles were as is. You tried working with the plaintiff, and you claim that she refused your efforts, so you owe her nothing. All right, Ms. Smith, tell me how you came across Ms. Hill's dealership.
Well, I was looking for a truck to purchase, and she just happened to be the last lot on the avenue.
Okay, so it wasn't like an advertisement that drew you to her lot?
No.
There wasn't
no,
a sell advertisement?
It was a ride by.
Okay,
like I
got
said.
it. All right, Ms. Hill, let me go to you. How long have you been running a car dealership?
Running this business myself, 8 years. But
Okay.
I've been in the business my whole life. I'm third generation. I've been
Of selling
doing it
cars?
30 years.
All right, back to you, Ms. Smith. Tell me about when you came across the F-150 and the defendant.
Everything was pretty much good except for like when I first tried to start it had like the scraping noise.
Yeah.
And then I went ahead and test drove the truck, and the truck seemed to be pretty good except for the brakes was kind of feeling like they wasn't right.
Okay.
So when I came back to the lot, I stated to her that, maybe the starter and the brakes needed to be, dealt with before I purchased the truck. So she agreed to do the starter and the brakes. So she did that. I gave her $3,500.
Did you drive away in the truck that day?
I did indeed.
Okay.
I had to come back to get the brakes and the starter fixed.
All right, Ms. Hill, accurate so far?
When she took the vehicle, the brakes grabbed a little bit right when it was cold, but that went away through the test drive. We did all of the paperwork, collected the money, and then as she was going to take delivery, the starter screeched. And since she hadn't taken delivery yet, I was like, uh-oh, if this continues to be a problem, let me know, I'll fix it. Because I didn't want to lose the deal over a starter screeching, right as everything's done and we're taking
So what
delivery.
repairs did you make?
Well, I ordered the brakes and the starter. She came in to get the brakes repaired, and the starter was still going out, and I did confirm that, and so we did both.
Ms. Smith, you were shaking your head.
I mean, her credibility is not good to me because she's been lying to me this whole time.
But what about what she just said?
What about what
incorrect?
she just said? I can't even remember what she just said.
Okay, let's move on. So you took the truck,
Yeah, the next.
and then you went back to her lot to buy another car, correct?
I went back to her lot
When?
to buy.
A few days after, the next day?
16th when I bought the truck,
Okay.
and the 23rd when I went back, I believe, to get the brakes and stuff fixed for the truck.
So you weren't driving the truck in the meantime?
I drove the truck back to her to get the truck fixed. Yeah.
So you were driving the truck for how long?
I wasn't really driving, like you said. I wasn't really.
Okay, that's what I asked you. You
Yeah.
said,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm
just trying to get
slow. I'm not
just trying to get this down.
not as
No,
fast as
I just want to
everybody
get
else.
the facts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you felt confident enough to get another car from her dealership, correct?
I did after she was straightforward with like getting the brakes and, the starter fixed.
Yes.
I felt comfortable at the time, yeah. But when it didn't pass the emissions test, that was just wrong.
Tell me about that, ma'am. You stated in your answer, the truck was DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, ready at the time of the sale.
Correct.
But the change that you made to your answer today, instead of saying that you owe her nothing, you owe her emissions only. What does that mean?
So there's a federal emissions standard. If a vehicle's tags expire within 30 days of the sale, dealers are required to get it through emissions. It's at our expense. When the vehicle left the lot, I'd had it for a few months. There were no check engine lights. It ran and drove great. We topped off all the fluids. There's no reason it shouldn't have gone through DEQ. Now, I do try to prevent this by taking my cars through DEQ beforehand, but I'm a small family business, and I can't get off the lot
Do you
all
have
the time.
documentation that says that the truck passed emissions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Which is why I issued a 21-day permit. So she paid $3,500 for the truck and then $35 for a 21-day permit.
Okay.
And the permit allows you time to go to get emissions. You're supposed to go immediately to emissions, get the pass test, and bring it back for a 90-day permit, or take it directly to DMV.